Hey, what's up guys? Just got done with my morning run this morning after upgrading, or I should say switching out the air shaft on the Rockshox Zeb from the 180 to a 160. So dropped it down 20 millimeters. And there she is. So this morning was pretty fun. Just on an initial basically shakedown run, I destroyed my last personal best on that run, which I've been on about 50 or so times. So I know that trail pretty well. And today was typical dusty loose, so not the best conditions, but I still you know, pretty much like killed my last PB by like 20 or 25 seconds or so on like a 8-minute run. So pretty decent. You can see here that bike's pretty dirty, but the axle to crown is the same as the original SB150 geometry. Although I lost 10 millimeters of travel, I actually didn't really mind it. I did notice that it changed the damping characteristics decently, but having a little bit less travel, in my opinion, allowed this fork to react much faster to what I needed it to do. And I wasn't doing massive drops, just like kind of, you know, chattery, chunky stuff that you saw on the previous video. So I didn't record it today because I wanted to run the bell. There were, even with like running into, I don't know, 6 groups of hikers today, I still basically got my personal best. So I could have easily gotten faster than that if I had just an open trail. So yeah, pretty stoked about this Zeb. I think I noticed now the torsional stiffness, even though it's probably in my imagination, but she was much better with the 160. So again, the original SB150 comes with a 170 front travel, but as you guys know from the previous video, the Rockshox Zeb, the chassis, the lowers primarily have more volume, but they also are 10 millimeters longer as far as the whole chassis is concerned. So a 160 travel Zeb is the same as a 170 Fox 36, which was previously on this as OEM. So let me see, what else. Let me explain maybe some of my thoughts on going from a 180 to even like the 170 Fox to this 160 Zeb on this bike, and the differences. The main difference that I noticed was that the damping is much quicker to react. So she's a little bit less plush off the top, but being that there isn't that much travel to have to compress into and rebound out of, and compress and rebound out of, the reaction of the front damper and basically your whole front cockpit feels just way faster. She's a little bit more arm pumpy, so I did notice that maybe on a longer run my arms might be more fatigued than if I was still on the 180 or even, you know, a 170. But I didn't really mind it. I still wasn't using all the travel, so I still have what, 15 millimeters there left to go. So I really didn't mind. You know, for my trails here, the reason why I have a SB150 is because I want that extra bit of kind of safety net. But I could easily ride these trails like on a 130 or a 120 bike and be just fine. But just FYI, so in conclusion, as far as my takeaways for going down in travel but still keeping the factory geo, I actually think it's a much better bike for me now and for my trails here in SoCal, because I still maintain the geometry of the stock SB150, but now I basically like you know, put like lowering springs or stiffer springs on the front end of this bike, so she's much quicker reacting. Just to give you some I guess, technical details on the differences. So Rockshox recommended for a 160 travel Zeb for my weight. Again, I'm fairly heavy. My riding weight is about 200 pounds. The air shaft pressure is a recommendation was 78. I ran it at 75. Now keep in mind, just as reference, the 180, the recommendation was something like 72, and I ran it all the way down to 65 just to get a lower side to get the geometry right. So that was like a total like bastardized like band-aid type of setup. So I'm super stoked with the way this is riding right now. I still have the 170 air shaft like ready to put on, and honestly, to do the whole process wasn't that big a deal. So I may decide to just throw that on maybe, I don't know, in a month or so if I get bored. But right now I'm gonna ride this out. I'm gonna tune the charger damper a little bit better. So I'm gonna do some like serious bracketing. I have, let me see, what did I do from the last time? I softened up low speed compression by 1 click, maybe it was 2 clicks, and I also softened up rebound. Oh, so Rockshox recommends that for rebound on this 160 setup, it was 7 clicks from full firm. So that's fairly firm. So I softened it up 2 clicks. So I was riding it between 8 and 9 clicks, all the way up to 10 today. So still playing around with it, but more or less that's the ballpark. It really depends on the conditions too. If I had more hero dirt, then I may firm that up a little bit more. So yeah, some of the changes I might do is I was sort of longing for a high-rise bar today, even though I haven't wanted one in a few years. But I may just try raising that up a little bit, even though it sacrifices some of the reach. So yeah, just a few things, a few minor tweaks, but so far super stoked with the 160 Zeb. It's kind of more sports car-ish now instead of like monster truck. So definitely very happy that I went ahead and did that. So hope you guys learned something out of this. If you have any questions, just, you know, leave your questions in the comments below and I'll get to them. Hope y'all have a great day. Be safe and be kind. Thanks everyone.